And now on Who's Views, a Doctor Who fan joins JT for a little chit-chat.
Hello, everybody, and here we are again with Who's Views. It's Chit Chat. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. As you can see, I'm joined by Bill for this particular show. Hello, Bill.
Good morning, JT.
How are you, mate? You all right?
Yeah, fine. First question: who does that voice at the start? I've never heard you mention. Is it you?
No, it's our official Who's Views continuity announcer.
Right, fair enough. I've often wondered.
Yes, every now and then. It depends what moods we get him in as well, because sometimes he's quite grumpy. But no, he's brilliant, isn't he? Listen, It's great to see you. Thank you for coming on to Chit Chat. Really chuffed to have you with us.
Good stuff, love it.
And yeah, this is the show that's all about you. So the first question I always ask people when they come on Chit Chat, as you know, is how did you discover the Doctor?
My earliest memory is Tom Baker changing costumes, trying to decide what his costume's going to be. So it's got to be the end of Planet of the Spiders, start of Robots, somewhere on about there. It was some years later. It was actually, I think it was the second Dimensions on Tyne. Was my first convention. I met Caroline John there, and I told her I just reviewed John Pertwee's first season, and it struck me how very different it was from so much other stuff we had in the 80s. It was very adult science fiction. You could take the alien Doctor out, make him a very intelligent scientific advisor, and all the stories stood solidly as good science fiction stories. And interesting how often it was humans who were the bad guys, one way or another. Yeah. But yeah, that's my earliest memory is Tom Baker becoming the Doctor.
How old were you when that happened?
Well, I met Tom Baker when he was still playing the Doctor when I was 15. So it must have been around about 14, 15, somewhere about that.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
And were you stuck with it when you discovered that show? You know, in that episode, did you stay with it?
Yeah, pretty much. I think so, yes. I lost the last season of Tom Baker, maybe partly through his second last season, discovered other interests like females. But up to then, I think I was pretty much with it pretty much all the time. My friend's dad was a senior CID officer, so Tom Baker was doing signing tour. So we got to go to the galleries shopping centre. We got on the service walkways, jump the queue basically. Terrible police corruption now, but I didn't mind at the time. But the memory I have of that, I met him about 3 times on that tour. And I remember standing in front of him with my friend Michael and his younger sister Julie.
Oh.
And the best I could do was Michael was a bit better. He was sort of furious. He was like, "Can you?" The abiding memory is Julie standing there going, "Does your hand not get tired when you're signing a name so many times?"
Oh, I love it. What did he say?
He went, "Oh, that's not too bad. You get used to it. You get familiar with it." And I'm standing thinking, "You can't talk to the Doctor like that, like you're old pals." I got them both to get. I think you got 2 books or 2 items signed, so I got them to get 2 things signed for me.
Yeah.
And of course, it was Willie Lowry at the time because my dad was still Bill. And at one point, he came to sign the thing. He said, "Are you Willie?" "Oh, yes, I'll have a jelly baby for God's sake." So I always said, "It's the only Time Lord who's ever sworn at me." But there you go. That was the closest.
Oh.
It's a memory. It's a memory that stays, you know. But a big guy, tall guy at the time.
Yeah.
But yes, and that memory's always stayed with me. Just like the best I could manage was, yep.
I love that. That's a great story. I mean, those days were just incredible days. You know, if you weren't there, you don't know really, because nothing's been repeated. You know, you can never recapture that sort of magic. And the fact that Doctor Who was, well, it was huge, wasn't it? You know, coming from John into Tom, especially through the Tom years, massive show.
Yeah. Well, it's when you look back and you realize just how long he was there for.
I know.
You know, and I'm unabashed Tom Baker for the original run, my Doctor. Like so many people, just because he was there for so long, really.
Yeah.
But I think some of the best stories were in his era.
Mm.
Personal absolute favorite would be Horror of Fang Rock.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Simply, I know it is for a lot of people. It's because everything about it. Terrence
Mm.
Dicks had to nix, or the production team had to nix the vampires in space story because the
Mm.
BBC was doing a multi-million-dollar co-production with Canada TV. It was America, Canada, or Australian.
It was a partnership, Dracula. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Does anybody remember that? No.
I remember the actor, the French actor, name off the head. Don't remember his name off the top of my head, but I remember it. It was like, well, he's not threatening in any way whatsoever.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I
Right.
remember that. I think French actor, and it was just like, yeah, okay, mate. But so I did watch it, but
Did you?
wasn't overly impressed. That's about the only memory I've got. But then you say back to Horror Fang Rock, it was the fact it was fast written. Everybody apart from the Doctor and Leela dies. You know, and introduced a new monster, a new creature rather, and the fact they linked it to a previous creature, ongoing battle between the Rutans and the Santarans. It was
Yeah.
so much to it.
Yeah.
It was 4 episodes, and you actually cared about the characters. Didn't necessarily like them, but you cared about them. You know, fantastic story. You know,
I totally agree when it comes to the characters. But I mean, the fact that it's it's a small show in a way, but I think that works better for Fang Rock. You know, and we all know the background details of it. It was done in Birmingham, etc., etc.,
yeah.
and that works to its benefit, I think.
Well,
But
there's only four sets outside the lighthouse, the engine room, the staff room, and the light room itself. 4 sets.
And it looks brilliant because of that, though, isn't it? It makes it more claustrophobic, doesn't it?
I think that's why Midnight works so well. I think it's the modern equivalent. It's a minimal number of sets, a minimal number of characters, and of course, you don't actually get to see the creature itself. You know, it's very similar in setup, which again, Midnight I know is a very popular one as well.
Do you know, I can't, Bill. I don't remember much about Midnight. I'll have to go back and revisit it at some point. It's weird. I don't know. Are you the same? When it comes from my outlook, I remember absolutely everything about proper Doctor Who. But the reboot from 2005 onwards, I only remember bits. You know, I couldn't quote it. I could quote quite happily something from Castrovalva or the Horror of Fang Rock or Robot or something, but I couldn't really quote anything from the reboot.
I recall when Christopher Eccleston was announced, talking to some friends and saying, completely left field, didn't see that coming at all. Totally unexpected. No,
did you know I won 50 quid on that, Bill?
Really?
Yeah, I had a bet on when they announced Doctor Who was coming back. I'd watched oh god, I was at home one day and I put on an episode of The League of Gentlemen, and Eccleston is in one of those episodes. Do you remember?
Yeah, he run a cats museum or cats theatre or something
like that. Yeah, but he's playing quite this funny, sinister character, and there's one element where he's in this big floppy hat.
Yes.
And I thought, I looked at that and thought, "There's the Doctor. There's the Doctor." So I went down to the local bookies and I put some money on. So when it was announced, I got 50 quid. I was so happy.
No, for me, all the usual names getting thrown up, the comedy names as well, Paul Daniels, all them. But when he was announced, it was like, I didn't say coming. My memory of him, when he first came to my attention, was Cracker, where he played Robbie Coltrane's boss and got stabbed by Robert Carlyle.
It was a cracking cast, wasn't it, that show? No pun intended. Wow.
I remember he drags himself to his car and radios in, and he says, "This is the last will and testament of a dying man." And that scene is vivid in my memory because it was painful to watch. Every time he moved, he was obviously in pain from the stabbing.
I only remember bits of it, to be honest. I don't remember all of it like you do.
I don't remember much about Cracker, to be honest, but that scene's seared into my brain because it was just so believable that he was dying after being stabbed.
Yeah.
I mean, that was pretty much the only thing I remember him in at the time. But so when he was announced, like, great, really good choice. Then I thought Eccleston and Tennant the first time were good characters, but I thought Matt Smith was the Doctor.
Mm.
Apart from, say, Eccleston and Cracker, not aware of Tennant, not aware of Smith, which I do like, I do prefer. Capaldi, I think he's a good actor, but I think he had too much baggage when he started. He was too well known. Possibly the same problem that John Pertwee had when he started. He was known to a lot of people as a light comedy actor. So may not be. I missed the first three Doctors entirely, so I don't remember the reaction to him when he got the job. But
basically, what you were saying, there was an awful lot of surprise. You know, this is what you get from looking at things now. There was a surprise that Pertwee was given it because of the comic side of his career. Yeah, and there's that big story as well that he used to tell, and Uncle Terry used to tell at conventions, Bill, where he would say to Derek Sherman, "How do I play this? How do I do this? Just be yourself." And Pertwee would turn around and say, well, "Who's that?"
Yeah,
because he didn't know who John Pertwee was. Bless him.
Yeah,
but it was Pertwee's time, wasn't it, to be able to say, "I can do serious as well." That's why part of the reason he loved it.
The character works so well. Again, having gone back now, I'm part of the way through season 8. I'm doing a marathon. I've read so many people doing them, so I thought, well, I'll do a couple of marathons. First one, I'm watching the extras and the episodes themselves. The second run through, I'll be watching the episodes with commentaries where available.
Oh, right.
And special editions, that kind of thing.
How are you finding the special editions, Bill?
Well, Enlightenment was an appalling hack job. Partly the way it was cut and what have you. The Curse of Fenric. Now, I've took the view at the time that McCoy was put in as along with Colin Baker to finish the series. The BBC wanted rid of the series, so they put in. I'll not go the League of Gentlemen description of them, but I thought they were both put in to finish the series. The BBC wanted rid of it. They messed it about, rather like with Capaldi's series, where they didn't announce one of Sylvester McCoy's seasons at all. It was just on TV suddenly. They moved it around the schedules. It was an attempt to get rid of the series. They wanted rid of it for a long time. But the Curse of Fenric, the special edition, I always thought was a good story anyway. And again, it was the stunt casting of Nicholas Parsons, and then you find out, no, actually, he can act.
Yeah, he was a very established actor. It's just that everybody knew him for Sale of the Century.
Yeah, like Bob
Monkhouse was going mad.
Like Bob Monkhouse with the quiz shows, and then you find out, oh no, he was a comic, stand-up comic, and he's actually a very good comic. Yes,
and he was an actor before he got all that as well.
Yeah, well, it was with the Curse of Fenric, the special edition where they've reordered some of the scenes, put some of the stuff back in, regraded some scenes. So you've now got the Russian soldiers arriving at early morning, dark, low light, rather than bright sunshine in the middle of the day. Apparently, it elevates the story immensely. I think that's probably the best of the special editions I've seen so far. But again, I've got all of the special edition collection sets, so I've got a few of the later ones, the Colin Baker ones, where they've got 2 or 3 special editions, but it'll take a while to get through them. I haven't watched them yet. I've just watched the original ones first time.
So did you say you've got all the Blu-ray box sets at the moment then?
The special edition ones, the special collection ones, yes, all of them. Yeah.
Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah. We did have that discussion about the second season with Hartnell, how much comedy there was in it, unexpected, and how comfortable the characters were.
Yeah.
But yes, I say the special editions of the stories themselves, of the ones I've seen, we're talking special editions, not the omnibus versions.
Yeah.
Curse of Fenric, I think, is a fantastic version. It shows you, because I believe the people who did it said they kept the special effects and the grading, what have you, as close to what would have been achievable at the time.
Apparently so, yeah.
And it shows you what Doctor Who could have been with a little bit more time and a little bit more money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's quite frustrating, really, isn't it? If they'd had more time, which was always refused, if they'd had some more money, which of course we know was always refused, it would have just been. But I look at things like the original Doctor Who, knowing that they did it on 50p, and it's genius. It's absolutely genius what they managed to produce, because we've had this argument in the last year when people have started criticizing the Disney Who. All that money, where is it? Does it show?
Yeah.
And then, we reported it on headlines. I don't know if you saw it, Bill, but there were these certain articles and stuff coming out saying basically too much money has hampered creativity.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? What would you say about that?
It's the guy, Sam Raimi. Jonathan Ross did a series called The Incredibly Strange Film Show, then The Son of the Incredible, follow-up with The Son of the Incredibly Strange, and he interviewed lots of people, and one of them was Sam Raimi. And he said the problem with having his second film, Crime Time, nobody knows about, because the big cinema companies came in and went, we're going to put lots of money in. Evil Dead did so well, we're going to put the money in. So the problem was you then had people with clipboards standing next to you, and you go, okay, we're going to do this set piece. And they go, no, you're not. It's too expensive. So when you've got unlimited funds, the change is, if you've got no money, as he had with the first film, The Evil Dead, right, we want a camera to float. Right, well, that's a 12-foot plank. Put the camera in the middle, film at high speed, and bounce the plank up and down as you run back and forwards across the forest. You play it back at slow speed, and you get this ethereal floating motion.
Right.
Works really well. It was a 12-foot plank. That's what they used. Right. When you've got unlimited funds, it's we want somebody to float. Anti-gravitational devices. How much are they? We'll have 2. He said it destroys creativity.
I know what you mean. It does, yeah. I mean, going back to something like Horror Fang Rock, Terence knew Doctor Who so well. He knew the production so well. He knew the limits of the show so well. He tailored a mastermind of a script to suit all those elements so that they could do it properly. Yeah. So it wasn't over the top scripts like some of them would have been, because we all heard the stories, didn't we, about in the original Doctor Who, about scripts coming in and they had to go, right, can you just alter that slightly because we can't afford that?
Yes, we'd love to do it, but that's just not feasible.
Exactly. Yeah, that's too big sci-fi for the BBC at 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Well, when it came back, that's one of the things I said, because of the advances in CGI and the availability and the cost, it meant you could have 100 million Daleks sitting outside of your planet flying down to kill. On audio, fine, you can do it on audio, no problem at all. But this, it's the usual thing. When you go back to some of the John Pertwee ones, especially, you go, isn't he facing 3 Daleks there? Isn't the invasion fleet 3 Daleks?
But isn't it magical though, as a kid, when you watch something like Planet of the Daleks, which does have quite a lot of Daleks in it for the time, in that freezing section. But as a kid, you seem to think it's thousands more.
Yes. Well, it's again, go back to the special edition, the Day of the Daleks. Great special edition there. Great special edition there, because fans loaned their own Daleks and turned up in costumes and whatever, so they were able to film a lot of Daleks attacking.
That was march on the mansion, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Terminator is the story. The Thal guerrillas have come back in time to kill somebody to stop them. And it was actually they killed him. That's what actually caused the war, which allowed the Daleks in. Yeah. Pardon me. Yeah. Again, it's Harlan Ellison's story originally, I believe, Soldier from Outer Limits. And Doctor Who did their version, as they did so well time and time again. Again, one Tom Baker season where you go, that's Frankenstein, that's
Mummies,
Mummies, all that. It's interesting when you say the modern one and people say, oh, they're just ripping somebody off. They've always ripped stuff off. They've always done the Doctor Who version of. And as always, as long as it's done well, fine. You can recognise the source material and go, whether it's... I think the problem with the modern one is, you've got Russell T Davies saying, it's the same season, same story, same character, but we're not going to look back too much. And then that's all he's done. Time and again, has brought stuff in from the classic series, usually done badly. I did make the point on one Who's Views reviews about Omega, that he was never a Time Lord. Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't get there, did you?
My brothers became Time Lords. I was abandoned, and
Yeah.
yet here is the new one, a Time Lord. It's like you hadn't watched the original series, or you didn't take notice of it, or you're hoping nobody else has remembered it, which is ridiculous.
I mean, what you did though, Bill. I mean, you've commented a lot about but the Sutek, the Omega, the Rani, he messed them up completely.
Yes.
I mean, that whole thing with Omega, I was so annoyed, as you know, with the
Yeah.
reality war. That beautiful character, that wonderful character, he's in it for 2 minutes and he's turned into some sort of Time Lord eating corpse.
Yes.
Absolute nonsense.
Yes.
How dare he do that to our legacy characters? I'm very angry, as you know, with RTD for many reasons, but that's one of them.
Justifiably, yes.
I know what an idiot for doing that.
Sutek, now he's Scooby-Doo on meth.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, what was that about? I mean, did you ever think in Pyramids of Mars all those years ago that he was a dog?
Dog-headed.
I didn't think it was a dog at all. I just thought that because the doctor says, "Oh, it's an Osiren." Oh, that's what the Osirens look like. I didn't even see the image of a dog for all these years. So when this dog turns up in the Gatwa area, I'm like, what's that about?
Well, not someone. It was a jackal, wasn't it? Jackal-headed. That's the usual description. Yeah, I remember that. I was fine with that because again, it fitted in with Egyptian mythology and the images we've got from Egypt, so that was fine. Yeah. What we got in RTD, that was why I didn't bother watching Gatwa's second season. It was just
I remember you saying you weren't going to. Yeah.
Well, that was the cutoff for me. It was like, well, I'm sorry, this is just ridiculous. And then attaches a lead to it and drags it to the time. What the hell are you doing with it?
Unimaginative, lazy, plodding writing.
Yeah. Well, that's what I found with a lot of RTD's second run. It's like all of his run. As people have pointed out, the best stories weren't written by him in the first run.
It's a good point.
Yeah, and what you found was, a lot of his stuff, first episode, really good, well written, well set up, and then just falls off a cliff for the second one. Just time and again, the second episode, the finale, it was just like, oh, come on, that's a pathetic excuse. Really well set up. Yeah. Yeah.
What was that called? End of the World?
Oh, again, I didn't say that one. So
the second episode one.
Just generally with his 2-episode stories. I say, the Doctor Dancers is not a good example because that was a good fault. That was again excellent. That was a good.
Yeah, right.
Start of the second episode where he says, "Go to bed, go to your room." But that was Eccleston being authoritative. But no, with RTD, I say, with there's 2-parters. The second part, for me, almost all of them fell flat. The build-up was great. The first episode, you go, I really want to see what's going to happen now, and then say, really, is that it? I suppose that was the benefit with the original series. Indiana Jones, as an example, Steven Spielberg said the problem they had was that it was based on the serials from the 30s, where you'd have a week between each episode, so you may have forgotten bits. So you could change the ending. You'd show the ending from the previous one, and you'd change it, where you'd have a train, people fighting on top of a train, and it goes over a cliff. Start of the next one, the hero jumps off. Think, well, he didn't. The last episode, he was definitely on the train when it went over the cliff. So you can cheat like that.
But Doctor Who did that in the original days every now and then, didn't it? In the remount of the cliffhanger.
Yeah. Episodically, you can do that. Honestly, I think most people, when they get the collection sets now, they just watch that one after the other, so you catch them out straight away. But at the time, didn't have video recorders. It was just what's going to happen next week. And the number of times you go like, there's no way you can get out of that. And the following week, he wasn't in it in the first place. Or some clever way of getting out of it. You go, fine, that's great, I'll live with that.
I love that, though. Again, it's part of the whole, let's build up the tension so people come back the week after, but then we'll explain it this way.
Yeah.
I love that. So charming.
Going back to what you were saying about sets, wobbly sets, that accusation always annoys me because it's rarely there. There's occasionally you get things where, again, listen to the commentary, as I have done with some of them, you'll get people saying, well, I turned the knob on the TARDIS and it fell off in my hand, so I stand there and hold it in place. But you don't realise that. You don't. I think it was Peter Davison said that.
Right.
One of the knobs just came off in his hands. So you had to stand there and hold it in place while they were continuing the shot. But you don't notice it because it's covered well.
Yeah, because they act well. But
yes.
I'm with you. I've never liked that whole thing about wobbly sets in Doctor Who, because it sort of degrades the talent that Doctor Who had in the old days working on it. And those people were good at what they did. They did what they were told. And yeah, there were certain things like lighting and stuff, which we as Doctor Who fans always grumble about, or previous casts grumble about, but they were doing what they were told. And, I look at all these episodes from the past, and where are the wobbly sets? They're not there at all.
And
really.
Again, getting the material that's available, whether book form or on the Blu-rays, on the DVDs, when you see the size of the studios they were working in, what they achieved was utterly incredible. I was just watching a special, was it LC or LV or whatever it is, Marco Polo. I was watching one of the making of, and they were saying how they did the snowstorm. That obviously we can't have a sandstorm. Sorry, we can't have sand in the studio. That would just wreck the material. So we did this special effect on the in camera, and people complained that they thought there was something wrong with the TV sets.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. So that didn't work out too well. But again, it's that whole thing of we can't do this. How do we make it look as if we have? And that was green screen 300 by Zack Snyder. That's Underground by Tom Baker. Underworld by Tom Baker.
Underworld,
Lots of people slag it off because of the massive use of green screen, which is understandable, but it was still an attempt to do something different. Can we do a whole story where we've got a minimal number of practical props and everything else is done on a screen? And I say, scroll forward a few years, you've got Zack Snyder doing exactly the same thing with a bigger budget, obviously, and better technology, but 300 is exactly the same thing. It's a few practical props and most of it's green screen.
Well, yeah. So, Hollywood's just gone through that whole phase, hasn't it, over the last 15 years of just doing everything via green screen. I mean, back in the day, of course, with Doctor Who, it was blue, yellow, and then blue screen.
Yeah.
I remember I used to love things like Blue Peter, Bill, because they'd go and show you how blue screen worked. Chroma key, CSO, they used to call it all, didn't they?
Yes.
I was fascinated by that. It's one of the things that got me interested in the industry, because I'm thinking, this is good stuff. This is clever. You can take on that blue screen there and put them there. That's great.
You look at Hollywood now, and so much of what they're doing, again, technically is superior, but it was started with Doctor Who. So much of the special effects Doctor Who went through. And you can look at it and go, yeah, that looks really ropey and pathetic. But you're comparing that with what they're doing today with multi-million-dollar backgrounds and better equipment. But it was the idea, the basic concepts were done in Doctor Who, time and again.
Said, Bill, for years I've said, if it hadn't been for Doctor Who, a lot of the stuff that they do today wouldn't be there, because you can actually, if you start with 1963 Who and you go through to 1989, there's television catalogued through Doctor Who as to how things are changing, whether it be acting styles, directorial styles, technological styles, lighting styles. It's all there through 26 years of continuous body of work. And you can see everything changing. So if you compare Underworld, for example, which I quite like, I think it's a great solid story.
Yes.
But you compare Underworld to Survival. The techniques have changed slightly. That whole thing where Silver's in front of and stuff like this sort of stuff. And then you compare it to where we are today. It's all because of what happened in original Who, I reckon. But I'm biased because I'm a Who fan,
Yeah, we are. That's why we're here. It is that thing you go. I say, for me, when people talk about Zack Snyder and isn't it amazing how he's done, you think, yeah, Doctor Who was doing that 30, 40 years earlier.
50 years ago.
not as technically as well, but it was, as always, when you're experimenting, you're going to make mistakes. You're building up technology, you're creating technology. As it improves, it gets better.
This is what people forget, is that the good old BBC, not the crappy version we've got today, actually created a lot of stuff that is now used by the likes of Hollywood.
I had a friend say that he wouldn't watch BBC 3 and BBC 4 because they were just rubbish. And I said, that's not fair. BBC
Okay.
Three and BBC Four are what BBC Two used to be. BBC Two did the comedy, did the music programs, and
Yeah.
they took the chances with the comedy, especially. And when you're experimenting, 99 times out of 100, it's rubbish. But that
Mm.
you get the one gem. So,
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned, BBC Three and BBC Four are doing what BBC Two used to do.
So I really don't follow 3 or 4. I know one of them is repeating Doctor Who,
Yeah, four,
but
I
I don't
think.
really follow them. Is it BBC
Yeah,
4?
I think it's four.
Right.
No, I don't particularly follow either of them, but when they first started off, and I was watching them, I go, well, I think BBC Three was doing the documentaries on musicians and showing concerts and what have you, and Four was doing the comedy.
All
So
right.
when people say, "Oh, they're just rubbish," this, well, look at the comedy, and the comedy's not funny. So, well, that's because they're taking a chance on new writers, on new comedians. So yeah, some of them it's going to be your personal taste, especially where music and comedy is concerned. It'll work for you or it won't, but they're taking a chance. So I'd always give them a chance because that's what they're doing. They're giving other people a chance.
It's an interesting topic you're bringing up there, and what you're saying about BBC 3 and 4. You'll know from the shows. I'm not a fan of the BBC at all, and I think it's a waste of money.
Mm-hmm.
What you're saying there about what 3 and 4 do, I think that's a shame that's not on the main channel on BBC One, because I grew up in a time, of course, like you did, where we only had BBC One and BBC Two. So
Yes.
the variance on both channels was massive,
Yeah.
absolutely huge, because you got bits of everything on both channels. And you're right, BBC Two was often a launch channel. I mean, I remember Ab Fab started on BBC Two, and then got huge and was promoted.
So many comedies, so many drama series started on BBC Two because they were testing the water. They did well. They got successful. They got moved across to BBC One.
Exactly. So would you say, because you know yourself that the BBC, of course, is under a lot of strain right now. It's under a lot of criticism. I think they've actually come to the actual resolution that they have to change, or they're going to completely disappear. Even our current government seems to have come along and thought, at last, woken up to the fact that BBC does need to alter in some way.
Yeah.
Would you miss BBC 3 and 4 if they were got rid of and the money was all concentrated on 1 and 2?
Well, they got rid of 3, didn't they? It went on online.
Yeah.
No, I didn't miss it at all. No. So if they stopped those completely, went back to, again, BBC Two, the testing ground, and anything that succeeds, move to BBC One, fine, go ahead, do it. Of course, you'll have to have a drag queen on there somewhere, wouldn't you? Well, as I said the other day, the definition of drag queen has changed drastically. It's now men with fetishes.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I mean, you've got your story about Daniel LaRue, and I remember Daniel LaRue as well. And it was the whole thing of, as I've said in one thing recently, they would stagger. You got Dick Emery. That was not a drag act.
No, that was just comedy.
Well, I like Pauline Calf, Paul Calf's sister, if you know her, because again, Steve Coogan said it's not a drag act; it's a character.
Exactly.
And that's the way so many drag acts were. They were characters.
They
weren't men. Yeah. They weren't men pretending to be women. They were men making very clear they weren't women.
Well, that was the British joke, wasn't it? This was a bloke in a frock, and we all knew it, including the act.
Yeah.
That magic has now gone, because they've gone down the American route, and it's about some poor confused lad thinking he's a woman.
Yeah.
That's not what drag in Britain was. And I can't stand the fact we've gone down the American route, and people like sheep have followed it, because the drag we had in Britain was magical back in the day because it was fun.
Yes. Well, when you've got some guy 6 foot tall in 8-inch heels with big rubber boobs, you've got to laugh. And unfortunately, now a lot of the time they get offended because it's a serious thing for them. And you think, do you know how ridiculous you look?
Yeah.
You've got no idea. Where previously it was, yes, look at the state of me, let's have a laugh.
Exactly. I can't be done with it all now. There's this whole thing with a whole load of lunatics seeming protecting drag queens.
I was just about to say that.
They're just doing a job. Grow up.
I know it annoys you because I've seen you talk about this plenty of times.
When it really annoys me.
Some shows being reviewed and they say she did this and she did that, and her idea was it's a bloke.
It's a bloke, yeah. The character might be based on a female, but in this day and age, I disagree with that as well, because they're actually very confused men or boys,
Mhm.
basically,
Mhm.
some of whom are going down this whole route of, thinking they are a woman, and
Yeah.
it's not. And drag used to be quite. I remember some women getting quite upset with some of the original drag queens because it would be overblown, because they would
Yeah.
really overblow the whole
Exaggerated. Yeah.
female thing. That's the word I'm looking for. Exaggerating, big lips, the big boobs, massive boobs a lot of the
Mhm.
time. Whereas now it's not necessarily like that, because they're not taking the pee out of themselves.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
I just think the whole thing, and the way that RTD pushes this and his little cronies, and they're trying to protect them all and shoehorning them into Doctor Who as well. Oh, go away! Can't be
Yeah.
done with this.
Okay.
Did you
Now,
see the one with the drag queen in?
no, I didn't watch the second season at all.
That's the first one. The Devil's Board was in the first one.
Now, I thought that character had potential. There's a scene where the Doctor stops sound. And
I don't remember.
In that one, he stops sound, and it obviously goes very quiet. And Maestro looks round, and there's just a moment you think, that's the way the character should be played. The loud drag queen persona is there to con people, and then you get the real villain behind. Cold, quiet, calculating. Just the one scene, but I thought that shows potential. And then they just threw it away. But that one scene, I thought, oh, now this might actually go somewhere. If you keep that dichotomy, the paradox between the public appearance of, let's say, the loud drag queen is actually just covering to con people, while the real evil entity is one step behind. But that was just the one scene in the whole thing.
I don't remember. I thought it was all rubbish. I dismissed it from my memory. The whole thing was a nightmare. The fact that they put a drag queen in there anyway was just placing the minority audience they were going after, and I just can't be. Do you know he's playing Judy Garland now in the West End?
No, I'll be honest, I haven't followed his career.
Neither have I, but I saw this coming up. I was like, what? Were there no women available to play Judy Garland?
Well, that's the other thing. Yes, you go like, how many women are losing work?
Yeah.
You know,
they're always complaining, aren't they? They're always complaining we can't get any work at a certain age. We're going to have a word with all these fellas in a frock. Time to bugger off.
But again, you go back to the BBC, it's just, it is the thing where people have made the comment of, are they putting a drag queen into every possible show?
Everyone's noticing now, Bill, aren't they? Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't know what
BBC's obsession with drag is, but it is everywhere. And you just, I don't watch the BBC because I can't stand them. But when I hear about it and when I read about it, because it's always in the press.
Yes.
You know, and we've just done headlines with one of them being on Mastermind and the game show and what have you.
I read about that. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's shocking. Yeah,
and again,
she did the wrong things.
Again, it's she did very well or she didn't do very well. No, he.
It's a character. Make sure you understand it's a character.
Yeah.
And again, some of these performers that are playing it, though, they don't. That's all they live on now. All they live in is heels and a wig.
Yeah.
You know,
but you can see the BBC losing millions of people stopping paying their license fee. Like you said, they're having to take notice. They're losing so much money now. They're having to look at why.
Yeah.
What do the customers want? What is it the customers don't want?
Do you think they are, though? Do you think they're better? I mean, look at the massive failure of Doctor Who over the last, not just the last couple of years, the last several years, because it started to go downhill with Chibnall, as we all know, if we're honest.
Yes, absolutely.
And the unnecessary gender change. But do you think at any point the BBC are actually sitting there, Bill, saying, what's going wrong?
I suspect it's so insular. The attitude is more, why aren't the public liking what we told them they should like?
Exactly. Yeah.
We're feeding you this. You have to accept it. You have to enjoy it. Yeah. And obviously millions of people are going, no, I don't. There's too much competition now. You know, I've seen lots of people recently saying, well, I've got Sky, I've got Netflix. Why do I have to pay for the BBC?
Absolutely. It's a great question, though, that the British public are asking, and no one's listening to them or answering it. You know, why should you?
Well, I say, there was the Haunting of the Villa Diodati, to drag this back to Doctor Who, which I thought it was written by Maxine Alderson.
Was this a Whittaker episode?
Whittaker, yeah, one of Whittaker's.
Right.
And I thought, that's Doctor Who. They've nailed it. They're finally making Doctor Who. And again, it was pretty much the only story they did, but it just had the whole feeling. The converted Cyberman, Ashad, was psychotic, genuinely a frightening character.
Right.
And you go, like I say, you go, that's it. That's the way you want your bad guys. That's the way you want your villains. He's not going to turn around, do a comedy bit. Mary Shelley says to him at one point, "Have you no children?" And he said, "Yes, they joined the revolution, so I slit their throats." And just the way the whole scene is played, you go, "Oh dear God, how did they get that line through?" That was real.
Is Cyberman.
Yes, part converted Cyberman.
Oh, of course, I've seen the picture on our Cyber show. It's like a Borg, isn't it? He's part.
Yes, yeah. And right, I say, it's just when he comes out with that line, "I slit their throats," it's like, whoa, that's really harsh, really cold.
But very dramatic. That's very dramatic, isn't it?
Brilliant.
And it builds something into a character. It shows the menace of the character and how he's been affected by the cybernization or whatever.
Yeah. Sure. And then you get the next 2 episodes where he's in, written by Chibnall, just wasted. The character's just completely destroyed.
Really?
But that one, I think I can watch that one. It's but the only one of hers.
Sorry?
The Haunting of the Villa Diodati.
Okay.
Doctor Who meets Mary Shelley. She meets the Cyberman. That gives her the idea for Frankenstein. It's been done.
Yeah, right. Okay. So.
It's been done a few times, and Big Finish. There's the Silver Turk, and there's The Witch in the Well. But I know it's been done a couple of times by Big Finish. The Doctor meeting Mary Shelley.
How many times can you do that? I mean, he can only meet her once.
Well, once per face, I suppose.
Oh, I suppose so. Yeah, but then do they have to go through this whole thing of reintroducing it? I mean, I suppose, very bizarre. But it can't be a first meeting for the character, though, can it? At any time, if they've done it over and over.
At some point, you'll say, "I've met a doctor." Yes, didn't look like you.
Hello.
The Woman Who Fell to Earth. Reasonable introduction. Reasonable. The bad guy there was a bit meh, I'm afraid. But after that, as with the figure showed, it just went downhill rapidly.
Yeah, it went down every week. They shed viewers every single week for the entire 3 years.
Yeah, I say then for me, The Haunting of the Villa Diodati, because I give, as always with all of them, give them a chance. She wasn't an actress I was familiar with, or don't say actor, I was familiar with particularly. She's in Attack the Block, where I enjoy that film. It's a good film. And she plays a northern nurse. And I'm afraid it does go back to the Chris Eccleston's, can you do any accents? Can you, can you actually act rather than just being a northerner again? But so I didn't really know much about her at all. So again, you go, I'll give them a chance, see how it goes. And it was just straight away you go, well, she's not the Doctor.
Did you stick through the Whittaker era for all the 3 years she did?
I did, yes.
Did you? Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting. You got through that. You came to RTD2 and then switched off. Did you have enough by that point? Did you say, no, this is not it?
Well, when they were coming to replace her, you go, I did say at the time, it'll either be black or it'll be gay, or you could see it was going to go.
Yeah, I think everybody was saying that, wasn't it? Because they were obviously going down the GI route. Yeah.
And then you get a black gay guy. Oh, well, that's 2 boxes ticked. Well done.
Yeah.
And I think the problem with Gatwa, as with Whittaker, is they both went, oh, we didn't bother watching anything, so we're going to make our own character entirely. And it's like, no, you're the same character with a different face, different personality maybe, but it's the same character. And those two disconnected from the series totally. I mean, I watched the first season of Gatwa, and when we had that Sutek at the end, it was like, no, sorry, I'm not putting up with this. Yeah. So I watched the reviews you did about the second season, and I did have to ask the question, because I went out and made himself a cup of tea, came back, and it appeared that you were talking about the Doctor torturing somebody and enjoying doing it. And I just thought, I picked that up wrong. That can't be right. So I asked the question, you went, no, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, that's the episode I didn't see. That was the song contest one written by that idiot.
Yes.
So I didn't watch that one. So I was horrified when the guys were coming on the show, Bill, to say the Doctor took pleasure out of it. And of course, it was a white guy he did it to as well. And nobody shouts ist or ot at that, do they? But if it was the other way around, with a white doctor doing it to a black character, all hell would have broken loose.
Well, again, go back to black characters. Ambassador's Death. The two astronauts at one point, as one of them is a black guy.
Yeah.
He's obviously the senior astronaut from the way people are behaving towards him. Yeah. Nobody says anything about that. Nobody goes, look, we've got a black guy and he's the senior. It's just, here's the senior astronaut. Yeah, he's black. Yeah, big deal.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's when people talk about the new seasons being inclusive. Well, they're not.
No.
Are they?
No.
They're very exclusive. You've got to fit into the right boxes before they'll accept you. And I used to say Doctor Who was always inclusive. You can call it woke. It's not. Woke is actually different from being inclusive.
Absolutely. Totally.
Doctor Who was inclusive. I say, think of how many stories where the bad guys turn out to be the beautiful people. Galaxy 4. Beautiful blonde women. Oh, they're actually the Nazis.
Yes.
Yeah. The hideously ugly thing, the Rill, they're the nice, gentle, peace-loving creatures.
Yeah. The underdog. Yeah.
Ambassadors of Death. Again, the ambassadors were killing people, not deliberately. It was just that they were highly radioactive, so being in contact with somebody would kill them. Didn't intend to. Who were the bad guys in that story? The human military. So it's always done that whole thing of, well, just accept everybody for who they are, or don't accept them because of their behaviour, but don't base on appearance. Whereas the last two Doctors, it's all been DEI.
Yes.
Didn't earn it. Yes.
Didn't earn it. Yeah. I know you said that in the chat. I mean, that's partly because of the BBC's insistence that this has to be done, and this has to be done, and this has to be done, and this has to be. But it's also because we've had a showrunner and a production team that absolutely 100% believe in enforcing all this nonsense. But I think you've made a great point that in our Doctor Who, in proper Doctor Who, it was always inclusive anyway, depending, because we didn't have the tick boxes as such.
Yeah.
And they brought all this tick boxing in over the last 10 years, especially. And it's done, as you say, it's done absolutely anything except include. It's excluded.
Yeah.
That's the problem with Doctor Who, because it's tried to be overtly inclusive and tolerant. It's excluded millions. I mean, how many fans have left this show?
Yeah.
The new show.
Well,
I mean, yet they're all buying the Blu-ray box sets like yourself.
Well, again, that's been brought up a few times. Pardon me. You've had a Gatwa season box set released and a classic season box set released, and the classic season went straight to #1 and stayed there for a couple of weeks. And Gatwa's is now buying cheap because nobody wanted it.
Yeah. Well, it's true. It's true. They do reduce the prices.
Something just came to mind actually there about you said about if a black character did this to a white character. Pyramids of Mars. An Arab character is killed by Sutek's servant, who turns out to be a white guy. Excuse me, that's just somebody at the door.
Oh,
delivery.
I'll put that on a pause. Hold on a sec. Right, we're back. We're back. Well done. Our package has now been taken in. Was it a Doctor Who package?
Don't think so. Something from Timu, certainly.
Right. What were you saying?
Sutek's servant comes out of the sarcophagus and kills the Arab guy who's there, who's acting as a servant in place. And then it turns out he takes on Marcus Scarman's face. So it's a white guy killing an Arab guy. They wouldn't do that now.
No, they'd be terrified.
They wouldn't dare do it now.
No, they'd be terrified. It's like Ian says, excuse me, Third Doctor Ian says often on the show, Christianity is up for grabs and anybody can do what they want to, especially when it comes to people involved with Doctor Who, and they can criticize that as much as they want, but they wouldn't dare do it with any of the other religions. It's totally hypocritical. And it's such a shame that's where Doctor Who is now, because it's supposed to be science fiction.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but I miss the science fiction because it's too shoehorned in with soap opera elements, in my opinion, today, of having to reflect the society that they want it to be today, or that it is today, and that side of it gets a bad press. There's no science. I can't see any science fiction in Doctor Who today because they're terrified of science fiction, or in Russell's case, can't write science fiction.
Yes. Well, again, you go back to the classic seasons, Monster of Paladin, Curse of Paladin. Britain was going into the EU at the time, or the Common Market as it was called at the time. So Doctor Who production team did a story about that. It's there, it's all there. Fine, lovely. Now they're saying this is the way society is. And for most of us, it's like, well, it's not. This is not the way. I mean, Russell Davies has said he's just writing what he knows as his community, his society. He's like, well, that's very nice for you, mate, but I'm not part of it. So it means nothing
I'd like
to me.
To know what sort of society he's living in, because it's certainly not the same one as the rest of it. That's the problem with these alleged people in so-called show business or entertainment. Although I've often said they can't entertain because they can't remember what entertainment is now because they're too busy bloody preaching. But they live in a bubble.
Yes.
And you look at all these people, Bill, all these alleged entertainers, actors and stuff, and they're always coming out, jumping on the latest bandwagon. And it's always the bandwagon that's going the opposite way to society. Because they'll jump on bandwagons which are completely antisocial because they're thick. They haven't done their research. They just think, this makes me look virtuous. This makes me look like a good person. I'll follow that because the right propaganda words are used.
Gatwa's story, Dot and Bubble. At the end, where the white characters refuse to go off with the Doctor and his companion.
Shocking.
And the whole thing, they go, it's racism. That's why they're not going. You think, well, actually, Millie Gibson's character, Ruby, not Rose, definitely not Rose, but Ruby, she's working class. And earlier on, the main character had said that her parents had got her this job to give her something to do. Like the people she was working with, all of their parents had bought them this job to give them something to do. So you get I've dealt with plenty of people like that where they do expect the people to say to you, well, we don't have working class trash like you here. And not get any response. Because they think, well, you're working class, you'll tolerate being abused because that's what you people are bred for. So for me, at the end, when she's saying, I'm not going to go with you people, and they go, oh, it's racism. Well, it might be racism. It might be that she doesn't want to be seen with the lower orders.
I don't know why they had to do that episode at all, but they might as well just call it Planet of the Ists.
Yes.
I mean, the big slug things. It was such... The whole thing about that episode for me, and I don't know if I said this in our review, was it was all contrived, like much of New Who is now, to get to the ending, which is a point, which is a lecture.
Yes.
And that's the whole thing about Dot and Ethel. It's absolutely bloody awful because it's shallow, 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 shallow. Oh, look, you're hitting the face now by saying you're a nasty person. You've got unconscious bias issues.
If you go back and watch the episode again, you'll notice that all the
no thanks, Bill. Not a chance. No. Once was enough, thank you.
The production team said, if you go back and watch it, you'll notice that all of the characters are white apart from Gatwa. That was a subtle... No, it's not subtle. We are still, I believe, about 82 to 85% white country.
Yes, which they don't like to admit or acknowledge,
why white people are in the majority, or should be in the majority for most things, because we are. Whether you like it or not, we are. That's the reality.
Yeah. And yet, but the problem is we've had this whole thing now where we've been battered for 30 years because of things like what we now know to be DEI. And the fact is we're being pushed mainly by people with some sort of guilt complex, which is a hangover that happened in America. We're British. Our history is totally different. We shouldn't be taking on board American politics or American philosophies or American ways of doing something because we are a different country. And personally, that's where I think what's happened is that too many people have looked at, oh, that's coming to the States and that's coming onto the States. We'll do it here.
Yes.
And we can't because we're not the same at all. We're a totally different setup.
But that's quite standard, isn't it? I mean, for most things, you look at the States and we'll be doing it 10 years later.
Yeah. This is why I'm interested in what's going on with love him or loathe him. Trump is the president of the United States of America, and he's bringing in all this sort of stuff, which is anti-DEI. And I keep thinking to myself when I'm watching these things, I keep thinking to myself, how long is that going to be before it comes into Britain? And I'm actually seeing start of it coming in now.
Yes, it has. Yes. Well, what I liked when Trump was president first time, and he stopped so many wars with the Taliban. It was stop doing that, or we're going to hit you with the biggest bomb we've got available.
Yeah, talk to them in their own language.
And people were saying, "Oh, the warmonger, it's terrible." He said, "But he stopped the war."
Yeah,
he stopped the war.
The hell out of them. Yeah,
because they went, "This guy's an idiot. He might actually do that."
And that's the whole thing about him. You just don't know what he's going to do because of that.
Yes.
And you've got to try and play some sort of. You've got to take him seriously because he might actually just say, "Oh, hell with this, bang."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've talked enough. Let's do something.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's interesting where we are now with Britain. I mean, will the BBC is so anti everything that they don't believe in, as we know. You know, Doctor Who was bound to get affected by it. And that's why, 2026 is going to be a very interesting year. What are your opinions about the upcoming Christmas episode in 2026? Where we are now? We're recording at the beginning of January here in 2026.
Yeah.
Go on.
Hopefully, it'll be the last thing RTD's involved in.
Would you like to see it continuing or finishing?
If it's going to continue, it'll have to be a complete slate wiped clean and start again. Totally. Whether it's, I've seen lots of people saying do the Bobby Ewing thing and have Capaldi change into somebody else and just ignore the last two because they weren't the Doctor anyway.
They'll not do that. They'll never be disrespectful to the two actors involved and the people that produced the shows. I would do it if it was me coming in. I'd say, right, none of that exists because it's pile of rubbish. But these people are so charged with respect for whoever's been before. They'll never do it. It's very easy to do, though. You just ignore it. You never reference it.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Just start. The Doctor walks in. What happened there? It doesn't matter. We're not going to talk about it. He's just there now.
And don't give him a number. Like they're so insistent on the reboot. This is Doctor 13. This is Doctor 15 or wherever we're up to now because I've lost count. Don't give him a number and just don't reference it.
Rose Tyler is 16th, apparently, possibly,
Billy.
maybe not. And it's just, for me, it just smacks of desperation. Bringing Tennant back, to be honest, when they said they're bringing him back for the 3 stories, you go, oh, is there nobody else? Really? Do you have to?
That's where they should have realised everything had gone wrong because the power of Tennant and Tate didn't last.
No.
Also, in hindsight, I'll put it to you, Bill, the big mistake RTD did was regenerate him from Whittaker, where they should have just brought back the 10th Doctor and fitted those 3 stories into the 10th Doctor and Donna's time before her memory was because they ruined the character of Donna as well. Completely.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yes, that's a fantastic ending, heartbreaking ending for a companion, and then they just destroyed it totally.
And didn't care.
So that her son could be, her daughter, no, her son, I was right the first time.
Son,
could, slag off the Doctor. I mean, the bitch slapped him, and he just stood there and took it.
Yes.
You're like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah, that's why I was so annoyed by the Star Beast for many reasons, Bill, because I loved it as a kid. It's a classic Doctor Who magazine, Doctor Who Weekly comic strip. It's beautiful in every single way. And I remember to this day being a little boy looking forward to every Thursday when the next installment of the Star Beast would come out, and the shock when you realized that the Meep, like you were saying before, the Meep was the baddie. And the ugly things were the goodies, turning that round, that was it. So when they said they were going to film the Star Beast, I was so excited. I was so really looking forward to it. The images that came through, I thought, oh my God, they've done this great. The Meep looks great. The Wrath looked great. Oh, Tennant's in it. Okay, I'll overlook that because I didn't really want him back. Oh, Donna's going to be in it. That's great. Okay, this could work. And then watched it, and minute by minute, my heart sank to when we got to that ending, Bill, where I was nearly sick.
You're saying he, are you assuming his pronoun? It's pronouns. Oh, for God's sake.
I'm assuming the reality, yeah. The Meep was a he. They got Miriam Margold in to do the bloody voice to prove a point.
Yeah. Yes.
And yet all of us thought it was a male of its species for decades.
Well, again, stick with those 3 stories. The Celestial Toymaker. Great character. Well acted. I did enjoy the actor who did it. And then they beat him by playing a game of tennis or badminton or whatever. That one, where it was just like, seriously, is that the best you can do? Yeah. And there's so many people pointing out when Tennant bi-generated. He said bye. Oh, the little tinker. Yeah. As somebody pointed out, when they finally separated, it was at the dick. They separated finally at the crotch.
Yeah.
Like, no, just crowbar in the messages. See if we can spot them when they're that blatant.
Yeah.
It was
a lack of care There's no love for Doctor Who anymore. And Russell's lost his love for the show completely because he doesn't care anymore. He's just there to put in his messages and his agenda into it and try and make himself look clever to a minority of people that don't really watch the show and are certainly not buying the merchandise for it. It's a sad state of affairs. Do you think it'll carry on though with that messaging into the Christmas episode? Do you think?
Yes. I don't think he cannot. I read that the plan was for him to wrap up all the plot threads.
He's only got an hour.
Yes. If he does that, all well and good. Wrap it all up and then go away.
Do you know what though? That will be a massive mistake because it's going to be shown probably on Christmas Day 2026. And what they all forget, and especially what the fans forget, is this is not a show like in America that is produced solely for fans. Doctor Who is a family drama for British families to watch. Now they're going to, if he spends an entire hour explaining a load of crap from 2023 onwards, the not-wees, the great British public, Bill, won't care because they haven't watched the previous 2 years. So they'll switch it off immediately and go and watch what's on ITV. And good for them because I'll probably be doing the same thing.
Well, it's
that's the problem.
Going back a bit, just saying about the DEI and all that crowbarring in this, having speeches made and what have you.
Yeah.
There was that now infamous Whittaker scene where a companion talks about having had cancer and he's worried about it coming back. And the doctor basically says, yeah, I'm still socially awkward, so I'm just going to walk away.
Oh, I've heard
you go, you go like, no, that's not what the doctor does. No, absolutely not.
No. But also, it's very uncomfortable having that subject being brought. It's Doctor Who. It's not Holby City or Casualty or any of that sort of stuff. Why was it even brought up? Why would they give? It's the soap opera element again. Why would you give whichever character that was this hangover from cancer and the fear that, and I know this from my experience, the fear, the worry that all cancer patients have when they're told they're, in remission, as it were. It's always in the back of your head. What if it's come back? You have to live with that, but it's always going to be there. Why would you put it into Doctor Who? Were they just desperately trying to make the whichever character was more interesting?
Well, it was Bradley
Walsh.
Bradley Walsh. And I would advise you to watch it if you get a chance to it. It is a fantastic scene when he's talking about it. It's believable. He works so well. He is worried because it may come back. And you are sitting there, obviously it's going to hit harder for you personally, but for the rest of us, you're going, yeah, that means that it's really played well. And then she turns on and goes, I'm not really bothered. At that point, you just look and go, well, you just go, love, just leave. It was genuinely shocking, but not for the reasons they wanted it to be. It was just so played so well. Why it was there, like you say, you go, this is a character arc, a character point that he's concerned. Fine, I can live with that. And it was played from that point from him, really well done. You are really feeling for the character. And then she just goes, I'm still socially awkward, so I'm going to wander off. Well, do us all a favour.
Shocking. Was it known though that this character had had this illness before?
I think it'd been mentioned before.
Oh right.
I think it had.
Was it an afterthought? They think, we've mentioned that before. We better put it in again. Because wasn't there another character with dyspraxia? And again, it was just
Ryan,
wasn't it? Giving people giving these things to
Ryan. It's
Ryan
the Plank.
Like desperation to try and make a character look interesting.
Yes, Ryan the Plank. He had problems with his balance in one episode, and the very last episode with him and Bradley Walsh in. There were scenes of his dad helping him ride a bike.
Oh God! I can't be done with all that.
Apart from those two, it was never mentioned again. It had
no effect. Again, Bill, you say soap opera nonsense.
And of course, the whole shipping thing. I believe it's called. Yaz and the Doctor, are they going to be in a lesbian relationship? And at the end, the Doctor goes, "No." Okay, fine. That's
because she's not a female.
Exactly, but it was the whole build-up of some elements of the fan base going, "Oh, they're going to have a lesbian relationship." He said, "Well, she's not a woman; she's an alien."
The minority of fans that didn't stay with it to support Gatwa, those women left, didn't they? Those poisonous women, and that's my opinion. They left because they were poisonous. They came into Doctor Who fandom, were incredibly toxic, to use the current term. They were very aggressive. They were poison. They were nasty. And then they all left with Whittaker. Thank God. And that's the minority, that Chibnall, Whittaker, to an extent RTD, Gatwa. They want those sorts of people in fandom, that poisonous side, who think that they're right all the time. I've never seen anything in fandom like it before. I was deeply wounded by these elements coming in and taking on our fandom, dictating to the original fan base, especially. Oh, bugger off! You vile people! Go and do your activism on your TQ cult nonsense. Don't be bringing it into us.
Where were you during the Wilderness years, telling the fans to keep the character, keep the whole series alive when it was off TV? Okay, a lot of them wouldn't have been born then, but it's the attitude, the whole point. What were you doing during those years when we were reading books, buying merchandise, writing stuff?
Yeah. It's these spoiled brats that don't realise that if it hadn't been for all of us through those 15 years when the show was off air, it would not be on for them to destroy now.
Yes.
We were there supporting for all those years. The BBC was aware of us. They even tried to bring it back in '96, for crying out loud. You know, and if we hadn't stayed with it, if we hadn't bought the merchandise, if we hadn't supported it, if we hadn't kept saying when Doctor Who was coming back, it wouldn't be there today.
I've met Paul McGann, actually. I mentioned that.
Oh, really? Yeah. I know another person that's met Paul McGann.
There's somebody on the panel. Somebody on the panel, isn't it? Yeah, I've met I've met Doctors 4 through 8.
Have you?
Yeah.
Right.
First time I met Sylvester McCoy, I found out later he'd just flown in from Germany, I think it was.
Right.
I said to people afterwards, what a miserable, unpleasant, grumpy git he was. And then you find out he's just flown in from Germany, so he's probably knackered.
Especially after doing a convention, yeah.
I've met him since a few times, and lovely bloke. Friendly, you can have a bit laugh with him, no problem. But that first time you go, oh, what an awful bloke. Actually, probably just knackered.
First impressions, though, it's important.
Yeah.
You need to remember that. First impression, it's tough being in the public eye, especially with something like Doctor Who, because fans are going to be around you all the time, and some of them will be meeting you for the first time. You've got to put on the show.
Does the name Dave Price mean anything to you?
No.
Right. He organised Dimensions on Tyne, which was my very first. I think it was the second one he ran. I went to, met lots of people. Katie Manning is as mad as a box of frogs.
Yeah. God love her.
But I was talking to him. There was three people, a father and two sons, tried to organise a big convention in Stockton. You may have heard about this.
Mm-hmm.
It was going to be a Friday evening, Saturday, Sunday, and it was massive. They had loads of people coming, loads of front and behind the camera talent. And midday Friday, it was cancelled.
Yes, it rings a bell. Yeah.
Now, what happened was it was the father and these two sons who were organising it. And one of the sons had physical and mental health issues. And he was pushed to the front. Basically, isn't this marvellous what he's doing with the support of his dad and his brother? And initially you go, well, actually, it was the dad who was supposed to be organising it. And then these two, but they pushed him, obviously, for publicity purposes.
Yeah.
Now,
okay.
I believe there were people who were the actors, maybe, were on trains or they were driving up to Stockton when it was cancelled. Lots of people lost a lot of money. And years afterwards, I remember reading people saying that, well, I still haven't got my money back. We want to know what's happening here. I spoke to Dave Price a couple of years later and said, what's the chances of there being conventions up north again? Because you normally get Midlands about as far as it goes, up then Scotland, but nothing in the northeast, basically, generally. And he said, I did a vox pop in Stockton about hosting another convention, and the response I got was, oh, those con men from the last time, no chance. So they've basically screwed things in the northeast for conventions. For how long that'll last, I don't know. And obviously with the Doctor Who in the state it's in now, there's no call for them.
Well, that's what I was going to say. But the problem is with now, and because, of course, in the United Kingdom, Comic Con is so big now, it's taken over. It's very difficult, and I know this from experience. It's hard work putting together a convention, And also the actors, bless them, are expensive. So you
Yeah.
have to pass on that cost to the tickets. And some of these tickets are outrageous. And I'm one of these people that always tries to keep the costs down so that people can afford it in this day and age. But you have to pay your venue, you have to pay your actors, you have to pay for accommodation, you have to pay for their travel. It's very expensive stuff. And the only people that come out of it really well, in my opinion, are the participants.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean by that as well, I also mean the fans who have a lovely day, but they spend a small fortune to get to these things. But I think it's going to be difficult to do conventions now because, it's not as popular as it was. If you're going to do anything, you have to base it, I think personally, because Comic-Con have the new ones and they will pay thousands for Gatwa or Eccleston or Smith or Tennant. You have to concentrate on what's left of the original series.
Yes. Yeah.
Not much.
While they're still around, of course.
That's the thing. We all have our time.
Yeah.
And no disrespect, but Tom's not really going to do anything now because he's in his 90s. You've got Colin and Sylvester in their 80s. Peter's in his late 70s. Yeah, at some point, you're going to have to wind down a bit, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, I run a martial arts club, so I've hosted people. I've done not conventions, but it's the same setup. Hall costs. If you're hosting somebody, their costs, accommodation, transport, and you deal with people who come along and they have no idea what's involved. They're paying their 45 quid, which they think is a bit expensive. You go, I'm covering over £1,000 here.
Yeah.
So I need 40, 50 people just to cover the cost, just to break even. And I'm getting 35, so I'm out of pocket straight away. So it's the same thing. People just have no idea. They don't have to. They don't need to know. It's on you for sorting it out and hosting it. But I mean, have you seen Gatwa's autograph?
Yeah, that's scriggle. It doesn't even say Shooty Gatwa on it, does it? I mean, it's
a scriggle.
So insulting.
I believe initially it was just a scriggle, but now he does a scriggle and then 15th underneath.
Yeah, because but it's just a scriggle. Anyone could do something like that. I wouldn't pay. I'm from a time, of course, when you didn't pay for autographs, so I would refuse to pay for autographs today. I'd be like, no, excuse me, no. But if people want to do that, obviously it's their choice. But I certainly wouldn't. But if I was to get something like Gatwa does, how lazy is that? I mean, that's just taking it. It's just
it is. That is just yeah. I mean, what was it? It was 185 quid. It was
I've heard various prices. I've heard and what a bloody cheek they have of charging that much just for a scribble or a photograph.
Yeah.
But that's the thing about Comic-Con now. That's where it's gone to. But you're right. I mean, you look at the smaller ones now, and there's not as many as there were in the 90s when, ironically, the show was off the air, because I used to go to a hell of a lot. But the venues today are very expensive as well. They're hugely expensive to hire out for a day.
Yes.
Or if you want to do 2 days, it's even more because they've got to struggle to keep, hospitality and what have you, in the toilet in Britain now. So they will charge you for immense prices for the use of their property.
Yeah.
Listen, Bill, we're coming to the end of our time now. I'm going to end one particular question. At this point where we're recording at the beginning of 2026, are you going to be there for Doctor Who at the end of 2026? Or alleged Doctor Who?
I honestly don't know. I don't know if I'll bother watching it at all. Again, I say the last Gatwa season is the first time I've never watched it at all. I think it was the second last Capaldi I watched on catch up. Right. But mostly I would watch on the day it went out.
Yeah.
The last Gatwa one is the first one I've never watched at all. I've seen clips, I've seen bits and pieces. You've seen the reviews, both yours and other people's. Here's this Nigerian author has written the same story multiple times, and now he's crowbarring the Doctor in. Well done, mate.
That's all it was. Yeah, it was his barbershop play, and it was adapted to put the Doctor into it. That's all it was. So it was shocking. Really.
So
it'd be interesting to see where you are at the end of the year, though.
Just right now, I don't know. I'll have to get close at the time and see what they're planning to do with it, who's going to be there. But right now, here and now, no, not bother. No. There's plenty of. We've got season 21 coming out. We know of. Hopefully, there'll be another one coming out sometime later in the year. So
I'm reliably informed there is.
Yep. So I've got plenty of classical Who to work through. and offshoots, spin-offs I'm actually interested in.
Mm.
So whether I'll actually watch it at the moment, probably not.
Brilliant. Well, you'll have to come back at some point next year and tell me if you will. But of course, you'll be in our chat as well, so you'll keep in touch through the chat.
Of course.
And that'd be great throughout the year to see. We've got lots of stuff I know you're going to like coming up on the channel as well. So
yes.
Thank you so much for your support.
It's always interesting to get other perspectives and people, knowing stuff or finding stuff. I mean, film is fabulous. First of all, let's just say it's horrendous, the abuse they've been subjected to by certain elements of the fandom.
Yeah, leave them alone.
Unbelievable. But what they're doing and what they are now achieving, we've known the episode's been out there for a while. Philip Morris said there was 6 episodes. I asked him on Twitter and he said, I know who they are. I know which episodes they are. I know who has them. I said, I didn't push it any further than that. So we know there are more lost episodes out there. It's getting them back and doing it in an acceptable manner. We know, again,
business, right?
There's one, I read that the owner died and they were in negotiation with Film and Fabulous to get that back. So that is basically start the negotiations again.
Well, we just have to wait and see, won't we? I mean, all the speculation is fine, but this is a business. Leave them alone. Let them do what they need to do. It's a very complicated thing to do. But I'll tell you what, we're talking about anything official here on Who's Views, but only really official stuff, because we want to leave them alone on this channel and let them do their job.
Yes.
Listen, Bill, it's been great to see you. Thank you so much for coming on to Chit Chat. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. Please give us a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, give us a subscription. If you're not new to the channel, please make sure you're still subscribed. You can also do what Bill has done here, and you can get in touch. If you want to come on to Chit Chat, you can. All you have to do is email me at whosviews1@gmail.com. There's the address for you there. You know it by now. Give me an email. Come on and have a little chit chat. Bill, once again, great to see you. Thanks for joining me. Good to see you. You take care of yourself, and we'll get you back on for a revisited chit chat at some point in the future as well. Okay.
Look forward to it. Yes, thank you.
From Bill and myself, thanks for joining us. We'll see you again soon. Ta-ra, everybody. See ya.